Some people believe every old home has a story. Others believe some stories never truly end. My family discovered that the hard way. Years ago, we rented a small apartment in a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of Manila. It wasn't luxurious, but it was affordable, and that was all my parents cared about. The building had peeling paint, narrow hallways, and wooden windows that rattled whenever strong winds passed through. The landlord warned us about frequent power outages. He never mentioned anything else. During our first week, strange things began happening. Our dog, Bruno, refused to enter the master bedroom after sunset. Every evening he stood outside the doorway, growling softly into the darkness. His ears stayed flat against his head, and his tail tucked between his legs. No matter how much we called him, he refused to step inside. My father joked that Bruno had become lazy. My mother wasn't so sure. A few nights later, my younger sister woke everyone with her crying. She insisted someone had been humming beside her bed, not singing, just softly humming the same tune over and over. When my parents checked the room, they found nothing unusual. Still, my sister refused to sleep alone. As the weeks passed, the apartment seemed to grow colder. Not the weather, just certain parts of the home. The hallway outside the kitchen always felt freezing, even during the hottest afternoons. Visitors often rubbed their arms and asked if we had left the air conditioner running. We didn't own one. One Saturday morning, my mother was cleaning the living room when she heard glass shatter inside the kitchen. She rushed in, expecting to find broken dishes. Instead, every cabinet door stood wide open. Nothing had fallen. Nothing was broken. Yet the room felt strangely heavy, as if someone else had been standing there moments before. That night, I stayed awake reading while everyone else slept. At exactly 1 o'clock in the morning, the lights flickered. The television turned on by its static, its screen filled with black and white static. Then, through the crackling noise, I heard a quiet voice. Please. Only one word. Soft. Almost impossible to hear. Then everything went silent again. I didn't tell anyone. I convinced myself I had imagined it. But the following night, the same thing happened. This time the voice sounded clearer. Please don't forget me. A chill ran down my spine. The next afternoon, I finally told our elderly neighbor what had been happening. She listened quietly before asking one question. Has anyone prayed for this place? I shrugged. She smiled sadly. Sometimes, she said, the living forget the lonely. That evening, she returned carrying a small candle and a worn prayer book. She asked permission to bless the apartment. My parents agreed. We gathered together in the living room while she quietly recited prayers. The air felt unusually still. Even Bruno, who usually barked at strangers, sat calmly beside her. As the prayer ended, a gentle breeze passed through the apartment. Every window was closed. The candle flame flickered once, then burned steadily. For the first time since moving in, the apartment felt warm, peaceful, almost welcoming. Life slowly returned to normal. The humming disappeared. The cold hallway no longer felt icy. Bruno happily wandered through every room without hesitation. Months later, while renovating the apartment, the landlord discovered an old wooden box hidden beneath loose floorboards. Inside were faded photographs, handwritten letters, and a tiny silver cross wrapped in cloth. The belongings had apparently belonged to an elderly tenant who had lived alone many years earlier. No relatives had ever claimed them. The landlord contacted the local church. A memorial service was held in honor of the forgotten resident. Flowers were placed beside the apartment entrance. Neighbors attended, even those who had never met the woman. It was a simple ceremony, but somehow it felt important. We continued living there for another 3 years. Nothing strange ever happened again. Sometimes I wonder if the lonely voice simply wanted someone to remember, someone to offer a single prayer, because not every ghost is searching for revenge. Some are only searching for peace. The end.